The story of Moses and the Ten Commandments is one of the most famous in the Bible. It is a story about faith, obedience, and the covenant between God and his chosen people. According to the book of Exodus, Moses led the Israelites out of slavery in Egypt. They journeyed to a sacred mountain where Moses received the Ten Commandments from God. These commandments, inscribed on stone tablets, became the foundation of moral and religious law for the Israelites, and later, for Christianity and Islam. The exact location of this mountain, however, has been a subject of debate for centuries. The Bible refers to the mountain as Mount Sinai, but it provides limited geographical details. This lack of specific information has led to various interpretations and a search for the true location of this significant site. The traditional view places Mount Sinai in the Sinai Peninsula in Egypt. However, in recent decades, a growing number of scholars and researchers have proposed an alternative location, Jabal al-Lawz in northwestern Saudi Arabia. This essay will delve into the evidence and arguments surrounding both locations. We will examine biblical descriptions, archaeological findings, and geographical features to understand the basis for each claim. Ultimately, we will explore why this debate continues to captivate the imagination and challenge our understanding of history and faith. For centuries, the traditional location of Mount Sinai has been firmly rooted in the Sinai Peninsula. This identification is largely based on early Christian tradition and monastic settlements that sprung up in the area. In the 4th century AD, the Byzantine Emperor Constantine the Great commissioned the construction of St. Catherine's Monastery at the foot of a mountain believed to be the biblical Mount Sinai. The monastery, still standing today, became a major pilgrimage site for Christians. It reinforced the association of this particular mountain, known as Jabal Musa, or Mount Moses, with the biblical narrative. The presence of ancient inscriptions and religious artifacts in the area further solidified this belief. The traditional view of Mount Sinai's location is deeply ingrained in religious and historical narratives. It has been depicted in art, literature, and popular culture for centuries. However, critics of this identification point to inconsistencies between the geographical descriptions in the Bible and the actual landscape of the Sinai Peninsula. They argue that the biblical account describes a more volcanic and imposing mountain, unlike the relatively low-lying Jabal Musa. Furthermore, some researchers question whether archaeological evidence in the Sinai Peninsula definitively supports its identification as the true Mount Sinai. This skepticism has fueled the search for alternative locations that might better align with the biblical descriptions. In the heart of Saudi Arabia, amidst the rugged landscape of the Arabian desert, stands Jabal al-Lawz. This imposing mountain, often shrouded in mystery and legend, has emerged as a compelling alternative location for the biblical Mount Sinai. Proponents of this theory, often referred to as Mount Sinai in Arabia advocates, point to a number of intriguing pieces of evidence. Jabal al-Lawz, unlike the traditional Mount Sinai, displays striking geological features that seem to resonate with the biblical account. Its blackened peak, suggestive of volcanic activity, aligns with the description of the mountain being wrapped in smoke as God descended upon it. Furthermore, Jabal al-Lawz is situated in a region replete with archaeological anomalies and ancient traditions that hint at a connection to the Exodus story. The surrounding area is home to rock formations bearing curious resemblance to a split rock, a dry riverbed, and numerous petroglyphs that some interpret as evidence of Israelite presence. While the identification of Jabal al-Lawz as Mount Sinai remains controversial, the evidence surrounding it is difficult to dismiss. It presents a compelling alternative narrative that challenges traditional assumptions and invites us to reconsider our understanding of this pivotal event in biblical history. The following sections will delve deeper into the specific evidence and arguments surrounding Jabal al-Lawz, shedding light on why it has become a focal point in the search for the true Mount Sinai. Section 4. Signs of the Covenant, exploring the evidence at Jabal al-Lawz. The case for Jabal al-Lawz as the true Mount Sinai is built upon a convergence of geographical, archaeological, and scriptural evidence. One of the most striking features of the site is a massive split rock formation located at the foot of the mountain. This formation, according to proponents of the Jabal al-Lawz theory, corresponds to the biblical account of Moses striking a rock and bringing forth water for the Israelites. The rock, which appears to have been split in two by an immense force, stands as a silent testament to the miraculous events described in the Bible. Adding to the intrigue, a dry riverbed winds its way through the area, suggesting the possibility of a past water source. This aligns with the biblical narrative of the Israelites finding water in a dry land. Furthermore, the surrounding area is adorned with ancient petroglyphs, some of which bear a striking resemblance to images of cattle and other animals associated with the Israelite Exodus. While the interpretation of these petroglyphs remains open to debate, their presence in such close proximity to other potential pieces of evidence strengthens the case for Jabal al-Lawz. The combination of these elements, coupled with the mountain's imposing presence and blackened peak, has led many researchers to conclude that Jabal al-Lawz is a more likely candidate for Mount Sinai than the traditional site in the Sinai Peninsula. Section 5. Scripture and Stone, comparing the two mountains in light of the text. The debate over the true location of Mount Sinai hinges not only on archaeological and geographical evidence, but also on a close reading of the biblical text itself. Proponents of the Jabal al-Lawz theory argue that the biblical description of Mount Sinai aligns more closely with the features of Jabal al-Lawz than with the traditional site in the Sinai Peninsula. For example, the Bible describes Mount Sinai as a mountain burning with fire, a description that seems more fitting for a volcanic peak like Jabal al-Lawz than the non-volcanic Jabal Musa in the Sinai Peninsula. Furthermore, the biblical account mentions the presence of springs and a plain at the foot of the mountain, features that are present at Jabal al-Lawz but absent at the traditional site. Additionally, the biblical narrative places Mount Sinai in the land of Midian, the territory of Moses' father-in-law Jethro. While the exact boundaries of Midian are debated, some scholars believe it extended into northwestern Arabia, placing Jabal al-Lawz within its possible borders. While the biblical text alone may not provide definitive proof for either location, a careful examination of its descriptions, when considered alongside the archaeological and geographical evidence, seems to lend more weight to the case for Jabal al-Lawz. Section 6. A question of faith and history. Why the debate matters. The debate over the true location of Mount Sinai extends far beyond a mere academic exercise in historical geography. It touches upon profound questions of faith, history, and the relationship between archaeological evidence and religious belief. For many, the identification of Mount Sinai is deeply intertwined with their understanding of the Bible as a historical document. If the traditional location of Mount Sinai is called into question, it may lead some to question the historical accuracy of the Exodus story itself. On the other hand, the possibility of Jabal al-Lawz being the true Mount Sinai opens up exciting new avenues for understanding the biblical narrative. It suggests that the Exodus may have unfolded in a different geographical context than previously thought, potentially shedding light on ancient trade routes, cultural interactions, and the spread of religious ideas. Ultimately, the search for the true Mount Sinai is a search for truth, both historical and spiritual. It is a reminder that our understanding of the past is constantly evolving as new discoveries come to light. The debate challenges us to approach the Bible with both faith and a critical eye, seeking to reconcile ancient texts with modern scholarship. And Section 7. The verdict remains open, weighing the evidence and seeking truth. The quest to pinpoint the exact location where Moses received the Ten Commandments continues to captivate historians, archaeologists, and theologians alike. While the traditional site in the Sinai Peninsula holds a revered place in Christian history, the evidence supporting Jabal al-Lawz as the true Mount Sinai is compelling and cannot be easily dismissed. The geological features of Jabal al-Lawz, including its blackened peak, split rock formation, and dry riverbed, align remarkably well with the biblical account. The presence of ancient petroglyphs in the surrounding area, though open to interpretation, adds another layer of intrigue to the site. While the debate is far from settled, the evidence presented in favor of Jabal al-Lawz challenges us to reconsider long-held assumptions and to approach the biblical narrative with fresh eyes. Ultimately, the search for the true Mount Sinai is a journey of discovery, inviting us to delve deeper into the historical, geographical, and spiritual dimensions of this pivotal event. As we weigh the evidence and grapple with the complexities of history, we are reminded that the search for truth is an ongoing process, one that requires both faith and an open mind. Whether we ultimately embrace the traditional view or find ourselves drawn to the compelling case for Jabal al-Lawz, the journey itself enriches our understanding of the Bible and its enduring legacy.